Hi everybody, it's Stephanie with Planning with Peanutty. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm back in my junk journal. So I'm really excited about this video because I set this junk journal up. I'll link that video below, but today we're actually going to decorate a couple of junk journal pages. So recently I had a trip down to Anaheim and I saved a lot of goodies. I got a clean bakery bag and one that didn't have any food crumbs or oil or anything on it because I definitely want to use the bag in my junk journal. I've started just saving trash when I junk journal. So any little business cards and things like that, I hang on to them now. So I have a lot of pieces from the trip and some stuff that's been sitting around. So I'm just sorting through it real quick to see what I want to put on this page. I think I'm going to do it about pin collecting. And I have a couple Daphne's diaries here. I'm just going to flip through them real quick. I love these diaries. They have so many great pictures, gardens, different European cities, and they also have recipes and a lot of artwork and things and decorative papers. So I love these magazines. They're a great source of junk journal materials. So I think I'm going to cut out this cute whimsical illustration, this little watercolor painting of these homes and the trees. And they don't really have anything specifically to do with what my junk journal entry is going to be. But I just think they're pretty and fun, and they speak to me, so I'm going to use them in my junk journal. So I'm just going to trim a little bit closer to the artwork so I don't take up so much space. Be careful using sharp objects, and I'll link all the tools I use below as well. So the scissors and the glue I use later, we'll put links to all that. And then I bought this bag of trims. Now, it's hard finding trims by the yard. All the fabric stores around me don't have trims by the yard anymore. So I did find a fabric store in Ventura that still has trims by the yard. So if you're lucky enough to have trims by the yard, that's a great way of doing them. But I also found this tape of fabric washi at Joann's and one of these little spools of that golden rickrack. I'm not sure what store I got that. So I pulled that. And then I have some of these die cuts. I think these are Hobby Lobby. The postcard one, I think, is from Joann's, but I'm just taking a look at some of these pieces I pulled, trying to see how we could fit this all together. So now let's flip to my junk journal. You can see I still need to put my name on this front cover, but I gotta find pages that would look like they would go well with the pieces I pulled. The ephemera, the souvenirs, the business cards, things like that. So I'm just going to... You can see I've put some things in here, but nothing polished yet. And you can see I did a watercolor swatch on that watercolor paper. Okay, but I like this one. It's kind of a tie-dye look, kind of watercolor look. So I think that page on the left will look well. I'm not too crazy about the dots going with it. So I think we can switch out the dots for something else. So one of the nice things about junk journaling in a disc-bound planner is we can just move these pages around. So we can find one that would work better. I think this crazy stripe with those really saturated bright colors will work nicely. And we could just pop that out and move it. So now those will be my two pages. Usually in a junk journal you sew the signatures in so you can't move the papers around. So I think I'm going to really enjoy the flexibility of this junk journal being on the disc bound system. So again, if you want to see how I turned an old Happy Planner into my junk journal, check out that video in the description below. But I'm just playing around with where I'm going to place everything. And so pulling out these postcards, looks like there's several different colors here. Maybe that pink, maybe the blue. The bluish green, that might work. There's a tan. Just trying to get a feel for all the colors in there. Kind of like this white one with the stripes. But I'm not sure if I want to put that much white on there. Maybe the really saturated pink one. I think we'll go with that one. Let me just tuck the rest in there. And then I'm thinking maybe we could just use it like a pocket. And here's where you really get to be creative, because you can make these like tip-ins where they flip out so you can see what's on both sides, or you can turn them into pockets. I could have punched them and put it right in the junk journal as is. So really just playing around with how you're going to get everything on the pages is a lot of fun. So you can see this picture is almost the entire width of the page. Let me just pull that page out real quick. And I'll grab my glue stick. That's one of my go-to. I love how cheap they are, especially at back to school time of year. You can usually get packs of them for like 50 cents. So I'm just gonna put some glue on here. All right, and put that back down on that paper. I like that paper. It looks like you've already done artwork on it. So I love it already kind of has a collage arty feel, artsy feel. And I'm going to trim that excess off. And then you'll notice I covered up one of my holes, but that's okay. We could just re-punch it. So let me grab my Happy Planner paper punch and a piece of scrap paper, because I find if you punch more than one sheet, it punches a little easier, a little cleaner. So really the optimum's like 2 to 3 sheets. It'll actually punch easier than one thin sheet. And then any more than 3, you're going to run into problems as well. So careful with those Happy Planner punches. They need to be babied a little bit. Okay, then I'm going to play around with where we want everything else. I'm thinking we could put that pocket down on this side. And then we could put the business card here and there. And the receipt, I like hanging on to receipts. They're a nice snapshot of how much stuff cost at this date and time. You know, so in a couple years you look back and you can remember all that. And then this little thank you card was from a different order. And then I have this box that was a blind box with different Mulan pins in it. And all these little cardboard boxes have a seam in them where you could peel it apart and open up that box flat. And then we can get a feel for how I want to use it. So I'm going to cut off that flap. And then I think I can cut this front part off. And it has that hole in it. Maybe we could use it like a tag. Put some ribbon or twine or something in the hole. I could tuck that in the pocket. And then this other part of the box, I'm going to cut those side flaps off. I think we'll keep that intact on that side. And I'm trying to see if I can use these California stickers. They are raised up with foam, so they are kind of bulky, but I'm trying to see if we can fit those as well. And playing around with the placement. I don't know if we'll be able to use those stickers. All right, let me go ahead and stick the pocket down, that postcard. So I'm going to grab that floral tape I had. And I don't mind that it's not the exact same colors. It's not the same watercolor look. It's just some florals. And I'm okay with it being a little more vintage when the rest of the page isn't so vintage. Right? It's a junk journal. It's supposed to be kind of thrown together. I kind of like it, that freedom that gives you with it not being perfect is what I really resonate with that. And then you can see I'm just going to wrap that washi around onto the back of the paper. And again, that back paper now is going to have this washi showing on it, and I'm okay with that. Part of that junk journal feel. All right, so then let's go ahead and add some side flaps too. We'll speed it up here for you. And that first side flap's going to wrap around onto the back of the paper. And this fabric tape you can see has a paper backing. There we go. Now we have a nice little pocket. We could stick all of our goodies in. And I'm thinking of taking some of this golden rickrack, cutting a piece of that to use for the tag. And I'm just going to tuck the folded portion through the hole and then pull the 2 ends through. There we go. So you don't have to tie a knot or anything. Here's a nice little tag. Okay, now this side. I think I'm liking that placement there. So let's go ahead and glue everything down. Grabbing that glue stick again. All right, and then this is a thicker piece. So sometimes I would staple a thicker piece like this down. Glue works too. What's nice about that glue stick is you have time to adjust it before it's totally dry. Okay, then on that side, I am seeing where we have space at the top of the page. I think I'll go ahead and add this California sticker to the top there. It does add a lot of bulk, so if you don't want to add bulk, be careful with those puffier stickers. All right. Yeah, you can see it's raised away from the page there. Okay, so now I'm going to grab a pen and we can come back in and journal in all of the spots I have open still. So on the left here, I think I'm just going to take that page out so it's not so lumpy underneath it. You can see I have some uneven paper sizes on the other side. So let's pull that out. I'm just going to talk about collecting pins that I got into this year. Disney pins. Put that page back in. And then I think on this postcard, we could talk about that specific store we went to, which is My D Pins, and that's in Anaheim. It was a really cool store. It was almost a consignment shop, like you could buy different people's pins. They each had a case with their prices listed. And then I think I'll address this postcard with the address of that store. Not that it's going to be mailed anywhere, but just why not use the address, right? All right, so let's pop that back in. Another nice thing about the disc-bound junk journal, we could take those pages out to write on them and put them back in. And that little tag, you know what, it has white space on the back. Let's write on that as well. And this, I'm just going to write about buying this blind box and which pin I got in it. So, you know, it doesn't have to be these momentous occasions that we're journaling. It could just be everyday stuff. Going to this store, including the receipt and the business card, because I hadn't been to the store before. You know, some of the packaging from one of the pins I bought. You know, a little thank you note. It doesn't have to be only weddings and baby births. You know, it could just be everyday things, which I really love, that it's the snapshot of what was going on in your life. And so coming back to that trim, I want to find one to use. And I have this red pom-pom trim I think is really cute. And I think that would work over to the side. And then I also have this kind of seafoam green one, which is cute as well. I think I'm gravitating more towards the red, however. I feel it pulls that red from the Mulan pin box over. Even though we do have a lot of muted tones in this page as well. But I'm gonna go with the red. Let me know if you think I made a mistake. But let's pull that page out again just so that we can glue this down without making a mess. And I don't want to waste any of it, so I'm not going to cut it until after I glue it down. Okay, so let me grab a little piece of scrap paper, and this is Tombow liquid glue. I'll put a link below again. And I'm just going to liberally apply this just to the very edge. And I'm only going to do a little chunk at a time. And we'll speed that up a little bit. Yeah, the first time I didn't get enough glue down. Alright, and I'm going to use some binder clips to hold it down while it's drying. Because we've got this fabric trim onto paper. So I really want to make sure it's adhered nicely. Alright, then I can come in and trim. So we're not wasting any of that. Alright, so I let it dry, and now I'm coming back to take those clips off. Yeah, I think that's a lot of fun. All right, let's pop that back in the planner, and I'll give you a close-up here. I'm calling it a planner, but it's really not a planner any longer. It is now officially a junk journal. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I think it turned out a lot of fun. It's just a little snapshot on this day trip that we went to Anaheim and went to a couple pin stores. And receipt, business card, things like that from those stores. So you could see, hang on to your trash. You don't have to throw it away, add it to the landfill. We could use it to create memories, right? And I think it's a lot of fun, very colorful. We've got the golden rickrack on that tag and the illustration cut out from the magazine. I just think it's beautiful, very junky, and just a lot of fun. And it'll be a lot of fun to look back on. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Click like if you like this video, subscribe to see more. But thanks so much for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.